Welcome to today's lesson on rounding whole numbers. Today I'm going to teach you 3 simple steps that you can do to round whole numbers. Let's go ahead and begin. Before we begin today, let's discuss what rounding means. When you're rounding a number, you're going to round to a certain place value. For example, if I have the number 53, and I ask you to round this number to the nearest tens place, I'm asking you if this number is closer to 50 or it's closer to 60 on a number line. Now, as you can see, 53 is only 3 ones away from 50, but it's 7 ones away from 60, which means if we round 53 to the nearest tens place, we would round it to 50 because it's closer. So I'm going to teach you 3 simple steps today to learn how to round numbers to a certain place value. Let's start with the number 652. I want you to round this number to the nearest hundreds place. So let's start with our 3 simple steps for rounding whole numbers. Step 1. Underline the place value that you're being asked to round to. I asked you to round this to the hundreds place, so we underline the hundreds place. Step 2. Look at the number directly to the right of the number that you've underlined. Step 3. If this number is 5 or greater, then you're going to round your 6 up 1. So we'll round 6 up to 7, and then replace your remaining place values with 0. So 652 rounded to the nearest hundreds place would be 700. Let's look at another example together. We're going to round 2,133 to the nearest tens place. Step 1. Underline the place value that you're rounding to. So let's underline the tens place. Step 2. Look at the number directly to the right of the place value that you underlined. Step 3. If this number is 5 or greater, then we would round this 3 up to a 4. But since this number is less than 5, all we have to do is cross this out and replace it with a 0, and we're going to keep our 3 the same. So 2,133 rounded to the nearest tens place is 2,130. I think you've got it. Let's go through some practice problems just to make sure. I want you to round 5,026 to the nearest thousands place. Step 1. Underline the place value that you're rounding. Step 2. Look at the number directly to the right of the place value you're rounding. Step 3. If this number is less than 5, then we keep our 5 the same and we replace our remaining place values with 0. So 5,026 rounded to the nearest thousands place gives us a value of 5,000. I think you can go through another practice problem. Let's try 989, and we're going to round this to the nearest tens place. Step 1. Underline the tens place. Step 2. Look at the number directly to the right of the number you underlined. Step 3. If this number is 5 or greater, then you're going to round the underlined number up by 1. And since 9 is 5 or greater, we round our 8 up to a 9, and then we fill in our remaining place value with a 0. So 989 rounded to the nearest tens place gives us a value of 990. Let's review what you've learned in today's lesson. We are going to round the number 3,218 to the nearest hundreds place. Step 1. We have to underline the place value that we're rounding to. Since we're rounding to the hundreds place, we need to underline the hundreds place. Step 2. Look at the number directly to the right of the place value that you're rounding to. Step 3. If this number is 5 or greater, then we would round our 2 up to a 3. But since this is less than 5, we keep our 2 the same, and we replace our remaining place values with zeros. So 3,218 rounded to the nearest hundreds place will give us a value of 3,200.